Hi everybody. This video I am going to show you how to make a paper craft for Mother's Day. It is something that I used to do all the time when I was little, and I don't remember if it was something that my mom showed me or if it was something that I learned in Girl Scouts or what it was, but it's a pretty common thing. There are videos for it all over YouTube. So it's nothing I can take credit for, but it certainly fits within our needs of being able to make something with things that we have. Okay, so I'm wearing one. So the paper that I used for this necklace came from a pastel magazine, so that's why it's just beautiful, because I just went for the color schemes that I typically like. The one I did for this demo, I wanted to specifically use paper that was from more like a typical magazine. So this was from the NJEA Review. So it's a teacher magazine. So not filled with art, but you can get the sense that there are lots of different ways that you can create these beads. A lot of the videos that you can see on YouTube basically have you using a rectangle. Okay, so it's just this straight piece that you wrap around, and all you see is whatever this last bit was, and it's all rolled on top of itself. One of the things that I like to do is sort of combine it with another bead making technique where they're actually just straight up paper. There's no paper clip in it, and it's tapered. And the reason why beads are created that way, like you wrap it around a toothpick or a skewer, and then you use the beads as if they were a real bead. But I wasn't sure that any of you would have string or bead wire or something to string those beads onto. So that's why I'm sort of showing you the paper clip. But you can see here that that tapering effect gives a cool sort of strata kind of look. Okay, and then the other thing that I decided to do to make my beads a little bit, to see what would happen, was to change this bottom edge. Okay, so I wiggled it a little bit. One of the things that I wanted to do that I haven't done yet was to see what would happen if I used a hole punch and like punched a hole in there so that when it did wrap around, you can kind of imagine that that little bit would then expose whatever paper's behind it. So if there's stuff going on in the paper where it's not just one big dead solid color, that whatever you end up with at the edge is going to be what is seen on top. So, for example, when I was doing these, every single one of those had a colorful end. And because it was tapered, that's why that looks like a trapezoid instead of just being a whole stripe over top of the whole thing. So you can see how it tears itself down, and you can especially see it with beads like that. Like that wouldn't do that if it was just a straight edge. So I'm glad that I made the choice to sort of combine those techniques. And I have templates here that I'll show you quickly how you're going to go about making them. And I'll have a PDF for you to download if you want to print it out. But basically, depending upon the paper clip that you're using, you need enough paper to get close to covering. You want to cover the whole inside for sure. But this is a 2-inch paper clip, and this is not a 2-inch piece of paper. This ended up being 1 1/4 inch. It could have been longer, because you can see here there's a lot of paper clips showing through there, but I don't mind, and I don't mind what it looks like on that one either. You can get kind of creative, and if you have beads, you can thread beads through the paper clips, or if you have jump rings, you could put jump rings between the paper clips so that they don't hang end to end, but that they hang flat, sort of in the same plane. But I didn't want to do anything with materials that not everybody had, but I figured everybody would have paper clips and everybody would have magazines or some kind of paper to wrap around it. This one I did small paper clip, big paper clip. If you want to do a big paper clip, I wrote down, so 13 large paper clips is what it would need to be about 24 inches. So you need it to be long enough, unless you have clasps where you can add to like open it and close it so you can get a shorter necklace. If you don't have clasps, you're going to need something that's going to be able to go over your head. So 24, 25, depends on, I have a big head, so what can I tell you? But this easily comes off and hangs nicely. So this one is going to be about the same length, a little bit shorter, about the same length. It has one more little baby paper clip that needs to go here, okay? What you need to know, whether you're doing all the same paper clip or not, different sizes, is you need to wrap only half of them first, and they should be alternating. So in my case, because I had the little ones in between the big ones, I did all but one little paper clip first. Then I strung on the big paper clips between them. You can't make these be like this unless you have jump rings that you're going to use to hook these together, because guess what? You have lost the ability to loop these through as you can with a regular paperclip. So now that I'm down here to the end, I still have this one that I can loop through and keep. And now I would need to, you know, I'm just going to loop these all together so that I know that they're hinged. Okay, so this one is going to be a little smaller. I think you can wear like millions of them. They're a little loud. They like make noise, but I'm at a position now, did I mess up my hair? At a position now where I can wrap these and then my necklace will be finished. All right, so I have this particular paper to wrap that paper clip, and it is going to need a little bit of glue, and then you will flip it so that it is straight, and you can pull that paper back towards you. Because there's length here, you do not have to worry about it being, you know, tight and bumpy, like showing the paper clip underneath. So I've centered it a little bit. It's got slide time because the glue is still wet, but basically you are going to make sure it's straight and headed in that straight direction, and you will keep wrapping and rolling. And if you had a different color end, which I chose not to do for these red ones, I wanted the writing to be the only thing because I wanted a little stillness because it's a bit wacky. These were all just subdued, so these almost look like they could be ceramic. These definitely look like paper, but there's something kind of campy about it. If this wraps around and it sort of sticks out, leaving a little flap, you can shorten this end, add a little bit of glue, and fold that over. If you wanted these to be, you know, shiny or a little bit more permanent, you could coat these with clear nail polish if you had clear nail polish. I don't. I'm not a nail polish kind of gal, so you can leave this last paperclip, so that could become your clasp if you wanted to, and that just can continue to loop around to make it a little bit more, you know, secure. But it's pretty easy to get off if you wanted to use that as your clasp. But that is how you go about rolling the paper around it. So you may use these template sort of versions to help you figure out how you're going to make your template for the size paper clips that you need or that you have, and you know the kind of paper that you want to cut from them. Just remember, the paper that is on the end Whether you go with just a tapered or if you do something kind of funky, the paper color that is down here is going to be the most visible, but you're still going to see what is on the edges of up at the top. Okay, so it's pretty basic. What I like about these is, you know, it shows that you've put a little bit of time in. They're quirky, and you know, depending upon what you use, you know, you could use book pages, you could you know, use anything, something that is important, and then if you're meaningful or whatever. And then if you wanted to use one of your previous tins as the gift box, and you've got a sweet little thing to give your mom. Okay, so that's there. This is just something for you to do if you are interested in making a gift, and it doesn't have to be for Mother's Day. It could be for, you know, any kind of day. Okay, so hope you have fun with that, and I'll see you soon.